All right, welcome to the Fantasy Groupies podcast. My name is Nick. This is Nathan. Start off here. We are going to be doing our top 10 fantasy players for this upcoming NFL season. Starting off at number 10 for me, I have Jamar Chase. He's my third wide receiver. I don't think he's as solid as Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson. We will get to those later. But honestly, Jamar Chase could be the number one receiver, but he could also fall all the way to number 8. He's solid, but I don't think he's as good as the 9 guys I have ahead. What do you got?
Okay, I have Jalen Hurts. I feel like no, it's just because he has the boom. He has the potential. If he plays good, he will be good. I mean,
yeah,
you can. I feel like
yeah.
He has the weapons. He has.
Why do you have quarterbacks in your top 10?
Well,
who takes a quarterback top 10? All
well,
right.
It's top 10 players, not where you would draft them.
All right, fair enough.
So that's why.
So like Jalen Hurts, I don't even think he's a top 5 quarterback. I mean, on a later episode, we will do our top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean,
probably next episode.
He'll
be up there, but
just the fact that that he has the potential puts him at 10.
He has potential, and like because of his rushing, he's a pretty high floor. So I can't heavily argue with having Jalen Hurts be up there, but top 10, man. I don't know.
On it for a top 10, like if it was the first 10 draft picks, who goes when, then I guess quarterbacks would not be in there. But if it's top 10 players, then I would have Jalen Hurts in there.
All right, you were barely in the frame too, so like
that's chill.
Okay, so my number 9 is Dalvin Cook. Talent-wise, he should be higher, but like I feel like the Vikings still do like want to throw the ball like semi-regularly, so not just like be a ground and pound team. And Dalvin Cook cannot stay healthy. Like even though he's played like 13, 14 games each year, I feel like he misses like half of games a lot. I would be quicker to draft Alexander Madison in the later rounds than I would Dalvin Cook early, but I still think he belongs in the top 10. I think he's a pretty solid bet for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. Solid receiving, but nothing great. So
I feel like
if it's a non-PPR, you can take him and he'll do fine. But for a PPR league, you can do better.
If having Dalvin Cook in because of the passing game, he is incorporated a lot. I mean, not as much as Justin Jefferson got there, but he plays a pretty big role in the passing game. So I wouldn't necessarily have him at 9, but I kind of know what you're getting at with the injuries and stuff. My number 9 is Joe Mixon. I guess I could have an argument to make him higher, but just the fact that the Bengals have so many threats that I don't think he would get the ball as much as he would have gotten, let's say, before Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd.
So here's my counter argument to that. When you think of the Cincinnati Bengals last year, what do you think of, like their offense? You think of them throwing the ball down the field, right? So
yeah,
Joe Mixon
to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yes, Joe Mixon had 1,200 yards on the ground last year. Before they got like really desperate, Joe Mixon was getting like 25 carries a game. He had 100 rushing yards each of the first 3 games. Joe Burrow did not have 300 passing yards until week 5. And I feel like with the upgrades to the offensive line, I feel like that was more to help the running game and put less strain on Joe Burrow. So I feel like if there's anyone who is going to improve statistically on this offense, it actually would be Joe Mixon, because he'll have so much more usage. Plus, defenses are bound to cover Jamar Chase more down the field. So there's gonna be a lot of dump off opportunities for Joe Mixon.
But I feel like Chris Evans is also used a lot in the passing game. I feel like Joe Mixon is less like a Dalvin Cook type receiver, or let's say Alvin Kamara. But I think Chris Evans is more used in that. I mean, we definitely saw him come out in the playoffs and just like be more involved in the passing game.
Yeah,
that's what I saw.
I mean, the reason why people don't think about Joe Mixon, because he's been great, but he's just not like the sexy kind of running back that you really want.
Yeah.
Like Joe Mixon is the type of dude to get 28 carries, 160 yards, like about 5 yards per carry. He's very consistent, which I like in a running back. I have a lot higher than 7, but I mean a lot higher than 9. I have number 7. Spoiler, I guess. Shit.
No, it's
But
fine.
yeah, like I like him more than 9, but I can hear someone being afraid to draft someone who's not going to go off like 10 carries for 200 yards like a Derrick Henry type guy can get.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
this is awkward.
okay.
Apparently,
His
I have Joe,
number 8.
yeah.
is
Apparently,
Joe
I have Joe
Mixon.
Mixon at number 8.
But yeah, I
I
guess
already explained it.
we already
talked about that. I like
So,
Joe Mixon probably more than number 8. My rankings change.
Yeah.
They fluctuate. Who you got?
My number 8 is actually Joe Burrow. So, just again with the quarterback thing, I just feel like they are.
If they
They
decide to
passed the-
unleash Joe Burrow, he could throw for 5,000 yards and 45
No,
touchdowns.
literally, that's what I'm saying. Because
And he can run.
he can run. He's similar. Him and Trevor Lawrence are the same player, except Joe Burrow just translated to the NFL quicker.
Yeah.
And they just added Hayden Hurst. Offensive line got much better. I guess Joe Mixon has the potential to pop off.
But
Chris
with
Evans
running with Joe
under
Mixon, it could open up the passing game.
Yeah.
So
having Joe Mixon is
You
good
should-
for the passing game
yeah.
as well. I feel like
you should never bet against a quarterback or running back for an offense that could be number 1 in the league.
I feel like the Bengals offense definitely does have the number 1 potential.
So I can understand you taking Joe Burrow in like the 4th round of a draft.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is Najee Harris. I had him last year. I got him in the 2nd round. It was between him and Antonio Gibson. I'm very glad I took Najee Harris. Najee Harris is gonna get all the touches because there's no one there to compete with him.
Claypool.
I'm talking about like
in the
rushing.
backfield.
Because like
Okay,
it's Najee Harris, Benny Snell, and undrafted Mateo Durant, who is very good. He had 12,000 yards last year at Duke. But I don't think he's going to compete for touches. Najee Harris will get 300 touches this season, and that's not
good
really a
point.
debate. He wasn't efficient last year, though. Najee Harris, 3.9 yards per carry, only like 7 yards per reception. However, he was a running back 4 last year with that kind of inefficiency, so I feel like that kind of screams upside because you can only go up, and the touches are going to stay the same. So he's almost bound to get more yards. There could be like touchdown regression from going from like an experienced quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger to either Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett.
That's why I think that
Touchdowns could go down, but the yards will go up. He's a good receiving back. He will be a 1st round pick. If you have late 1st round pick and he's there, you should take him. There's no reason not to.
I guess Najee is the only downside I see to him is depending on how well the Steelers use either Mitch or Kenny Pickett as a new quarterback.
And their offensive line is horrible, but it worked out
That's
last
true.
year. So it's not going to get worse than it was last year, and he was just running back 4. So
the most likely scenario for me is Najee having a similar season, not having a much.
I mean, Najee Harris will get 1,300 yards,
Yeah.
9 touchdowns. There's
Maybe
a world
less
where
touchdowns.
maybe less. There's a world where he should be ranked higher, but I have him where I do.
I definitely could see them targeting Freiermuth more in the red zone.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Your number 7.
My number 7 is Jamar Chase. You had him at number 10.
I had him at number 10
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
feel
not 100% sold that he is unguardable. Like Justin Jefferson is such a good route runner. Cooper Kupp has such a great connection with Matt Stafford. I feel like Jamar Chase will be overdrafted, and I'm
That's
just
true.
not 100% certain that he will get all of the touches because
But
he had even touches with T. Higgins last year. Like the target share was 24% for Chase, 23% for Higgins.
I do like T. Higgins as a player better.
Yeah.
But for fantasy wise, I
The
feel like
value is there for
Jamar will get
Higgins.
more targets.
Yeah.
T. Higgins I feel like is better at going up and getting the ball, but Jamar is not a lot faster, but he is pretty fast.
If you want production, you get Jamar Chase. If you want
So-
that good value, though, you go T. Higgins.
And if it's PPR, then Jamar Chase will have a good season because he will get a lot of targets, and he is explosive. You saw in the AFC Championship game, and I guess also when they played the Chiefs in the regular season as well, he went off for I think it was 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, late in the season, they
They started
they
to
fed
actually
the ball
use
to
him.
Jamar Chase.
Similar to how
I don't-
Justin Jefferson's rookie
yeah.
season was.
I don't think that's sustainable, which is why I think he is going to be overdrafted. but he's still a great wide receiver. He'll be a top 5 guy this season.
It just does depend how they
depends on
decide
where
to
you're
use T.
drafting.
Higgins
Yeah.
and Tyler Boyd.
It depends on where you're drafting. If you take him
Yeah.
at number 5, that's not right. But
Oh,
like,
yeah,
if
you're
have,
definitely not taking him. I don't think he's a first-round pick.
if you have a late first round pick, like 12-man league, you're number 11. If you want to build like a wide receiver heavy team, you take Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
beyond
yeah,
that, load up on your running backs. Don't be stupid.
First 2 rounds should always be running backs, depending on who's available.
Yeah. Though this year, there's a lot of, or we'll talk about that later, but like, there's a lot of split carries and a lot of backfields, which means I feel like there's a lot of better value for later on in the rounds.
I agree.
My number 6 is Austin Eckler. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. He's old. He's small. He's only had one really good season, and that was last year. His red zone numbers were insane. Like, it was something crazy, like 12 red zone carries and like 12 touchdowns, like 12 goal line carries and 12 touchdowns. It's not sustainable. His touchdowns will go down. I like Justin Herbert. I don't love Justin Herbert. He will not be as good as he was last year. He has injury potential, but I still feel like he is around that number 6 range. For some reason, I have Christian McCaffrey top 4. I would never draft Christian McCaffrey, but
Yeah, I guess
he's there. If he plays, he'll be good.
Austin,
I'm just not sure that you should draft him top 3, like I see a lot of people doing.
Austin Eckler, the only thing that Justin Herbert has showed himself to be a deep ball player. They have 2 of the best deep ball receivers in the league. They extended Mike Williams, which shows they're definitely going to use him. I feel like
And he's a great
he's
dump off
definitely
guy.
gonna
That's why you draft
He's
Austin
going to go
Eckler,
down.
'cause
Austin
he's gonna-
Eckler's going down.
He's going, like, injury or, like, production?
Like production, he's not going to have.
All right.
I don't even have him in my top 10 actually.
Who's your number 6?
My number 6 is Derrick Henry. And this is
We'll get to that.
the
So,
only
are you
reason I
being, like,
haven't
precautious due to injury, or
he's coming off a big injury.
he didn't play well in the divisional round when he came back, but
That's true, but that's only because it was straight off an injury. So, and then I guess, I wouldn't trust him as much as I did last year. They don't pass, so he won't get PPR. If they do pass, it'll definitely be to Treylon, I think, or they don't have anybody else, so they're not going to pass. He will
though,
get a
because
lot
they
of
don't
touches.
have anyone else, he could get like a couple like dump offs because no one else can run routes.
That's true.
So I feel like
he has been working on his route
receiving
running.
receiving upside could be there.
It could be there, but I wouldn't trust it as much as
I wouldn't trust it, but like there is upside there with Derrick Henry, which is crazy because we're talking about a guy who finished as a running back 14 last year, playing in only 7.5 games. So,
and also how fast D lines are improving across the league. We saw in this year's draft.
I mean, yeah, Derrick
Defensive
Henry,
end and defensive tackle are probably one of the 2 of the most important positions you can have. I don't think you can really have a good team without having a good edge rusher, and we all know that the Titans love to run either directly inside or all the way outside. So
I feel like the Titans' draft philosophy is, if you are big and you are strong, you are a Tennessee Titan.
Yeah, that's
so.
Yeah.
I feel like their offensive line can produce. Derrick Henry only averaged less than 4.5 yards per carry last year, so that's gonna go up.
Oh, for sure.
So again, there's upside there. Last year, even before he got hurt, was a down year, and again, he was number 1 back in fantasy. Yeah. So, if Derrick Henry is healthy, he will be the number 1 running back in fantasy. It's just, will he be healthy? We're not 100% certain.
And their O-line, I guess, has downgraded, right? They didn't
slightly, but
it's
not
too much. But
again, big, strong Titans.
Yeah.
So, my number 5 is Justin Jefferson. He improved last year. Adam Thielen is getting older. I still think he's gonna be fine, but the Vikings want to throw the ball more. They want to unleash Kirk Cousins, who had a good year last year. I think that was more scheme. I think Kirk Cousins is a system quarterback, but that's not a bad thing. Justin Jefferson works well in that scheme. He can run short, he can run medium, he can run deep. He's gonna get 10 targets a game. He's gonna get 7 receptions every single week. His floor for a week is 7 catches for 80 yards, which is still, for PPR, we're talking like 15 points.
Yeah.
So he will be a top 3 receiver in fantasy. I don't think there's any debate there. The only reason he's not higher for me is because I prioritize running backs. But if we're talking like total points for the season, he might be top 3.
Yeah, I also have Justin Jefferson, and as a Vikings fan, I've been seeing how well this offense is producing. I guess on Instagram they would only show the good plays, but like still how well like and Justin Jefferson has said he is liking this offense. It's working well for him. I honestly could see him improving again.
Yeah. If there's any player not named Cooper Kupp to have a Cooper Kupp-esque season, it's Justin
Jefferson. And even though they use Adam Thielen a lot,
he's more of a red zone guy. I mean,
yeah. But so
they're not going to use him like around like midfield or like advancing down the field.
Yeah.
He is their only receiver.
They,
to, like,
they
really,
send him down the field only
yeah.
like a couple times a game at most. So, Justin Jefferson
in a PPR, he'll get tons of receptions.
He has the ability to get open a lot as well.
He can catch deep, but he's like Jalen Waddle in a lot of ways, like where that 10 to 15 yard range, Justin Jefferson will get open and he will get the ball.
Yeah,
I don't think there's no risk with Justin Jefferson.
He's only gotten
not
stronger
injury,
as well.
Yeah,
so.
He's no injury risk. So, I mean, injuries are random. You can't depend on that. But he hasn't gotten hurt yet. I wouldn't bet on it. My number 4 is Christian McCaffrey because I don't trust him, and that's why he's not number 1. If he's healthy for the entire season, it'll be him or Derrick Henry for number 1 in fantasy. But he has been healthy since 2019. He hasn't been very efficient when he was on the field. Like, because I was curious, I looked at his games, like his production last year, and even when he was healthy, he had a lot of games where he only had like 6 points. So I'm not sure that he's that guy that he was in 2019, even when he is healthy. But the upside is there. I've done a lot of mock drafts, and Christian McCaffrey has fallen to me. And even with how little I trust Christian McCaffrey, I'm honestly scared not to take him just because he could win your league. But I've heard a saying a few times, you can't win your fantasy league in the first round, but you can lose it, which is why I am scared of Christian McCaffrey, because if you take him and he does get hurt, you are going to lose your league, because that is 20 points per game that you are losing off the bat. You can't afford that. So, Christian McCaffrey's my number 4, but I would not take him top 4. What you got?
My number 4 is actually Lamar. That's might be the most stupid player on my list. I mean,
he was good last year, and he had a bad year last year, and he was fine. Like,
I feel like just the fact that he is the best dual threat quarterback in the league, that might be a controversial opinion.
I don't think it is. We'll talk about Kyler Murray later.
Yeah,
I have a lot of things to say about that.
But I guess the fact that Lamar and behind their own line is not, I wouldn't say it's bad. I feel like
it's pretty good.
It's good enough for Lamar.
And they have running backs now.
Yeah,
like,
and they have
Mark Ingram is not going to be hurt, or is he? Yeah. No, he went to the Saints. Didn't he?
Yeah, he went back to
J.K.
the
Dobbins.
Yeah,
J.K. Dobbins will be healthy.
They have one of the best backfields.
They have a great backfield. They have
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, like they have like, obviously they're losing Marquise Brown, but like
Bateman,
I love Rashad Bateman for fantasy this year.
He was insane.
A very underrated guy who I won't think will be drafted. I will definitely pick him up on waivers if he is on waivers. Tylan Wallace. Remember that name? He was an Oklahoma State wide receiver.
Yes, dude.
They drafted him like in the 3rd round a couple years ago.
Yeah.
If there is a Terry McLaurin, like, late round pick, obviously he's not a rookie this year, but like just someone who many people know about, but who could split onto the seed.
He can step up. He has the potential to step up.
There is a world where Tylan Wallace has 900 yards and 10 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Lamar can run. His touchdown to interception ratio will improve. He had 16 touchdowns, 13 picks last year.
I feel like he's gotten better.
There were a lot of injuries last year, and the whole strategy was just like, you know what, Mark is down there somewhere. I don't think that's going to happen again.
I feel like the coaching at Baltimore is smart enough to not do that.
Harbaugh knows what's up.
Yeah.
He'll be more efficient. They won't like make him not run the ball, because that's an issue with a lot of dual threat quarterbacks. They want to make them pocket passers. Harbaugh is smart. He knows what he has there. Lamar is not a pocket passer. He's improved, but he's not a pocket passer.
Of course.
So
and that's why I have.
They're smart. Yeah. He could be the quarterback 1, and even his floor is running back. He's a running back.
Lamar is one of these players that I think will not be bad. He cannot be bad. It's just dependent on how good he will be. And
you could overdraft him though for his value.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My number 3, we already talked about this, Derrick Henry. Again, there is tons of upside here, and for all of his upside, his floor is still like running back 7. So, again, if I had the number 1 overall pick, I would take Jonathan Taylor, but I could trick myself into taking Derrick Henry, and I wouldn't be mad at it.
Derrick Henry, I think, will definitely be a top 5 pick. I don't think there's any way around it.
So who you got?
Yeah. My number 3 is actually Dalvin Cook. We already talked about him. All the reasons Nick said why he was at 7, I feel like.
They apply to why he's at 3. I just don't trust his injuries. I would have him higher.
Yeah, and
he's a top 5 talent in the league. I just don't trust him to stay healthy. But
his floor is high enough that he will be a early first round.
Plus,
pick.
like, for all of his injury concerns, the least number of games he's played in a season, like in the last 3 years, is 13 games. So like, the real concern is that he gets hurt around playoff time.
Yeah, he gets hurt late in the season, and then. But I feel like Alexander.
But if you draft well late, like you could stack Vikings running backs and have Cook and Madison, and you couldn't really go wrong there.
Yeah. So if you draft Cook, I feel like drafting Madison. I feel like.
Because again, there's so many.
You can't overdraft him too much.
Yeah, there's so many split backfields that.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be great value late.
Yeah.
We'll get to that again later on.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Cooper Kupp. Do I think he'll have the same year he did last year? Absolutely not. But I mean, at the same time, like his floor is 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns, which is top 5 wide receiver. Again, you're just trying not to lose the draft in the first round, and you cannot lose picking Cooper Kupp, which is why he's my number 2. He is as sure of a thing as you can get in this draft, even over Jonathan Taylor, because running backs, they get hurt. You can't say that Jonathan Taylor won't get hurt. So you could also, for a full PPR league, you could draft Cooper Kupp in number 1, and you wouldn't be wrong.
It's just the fact that he's a receiver. I don't feel
It's the fact that he's a receiver, but you can't lock into position in the first round. It depends on what happens.
That's true.
If you do not trust a running back, because I don't trust a lot of these. Like I've named a lot of guys, and like I've said so many good things about them, but I have so many not good things about them too.
Yeah.
I don't trust anyone in this draft except for like a handful of guys. So
I personally don't. Well, I don't think I'm going to draft Cooper Kupp.
I don't think I mean, I have the number 7 pick, but
Which pick do I have?
You're like 5, I think. So you're definitely.
That's actually prime. That's actually prime.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah.
So like we're talking about guys that we have no shot of getting, but.
Yeah, I feel like.
Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is actually Chris McCaffrey, and I feel
for
like
the same reasons that I. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. But I feel like.
Because we said, for clarity, these rankings are not where we would draft them. It's where we would recommend the like if we had like a magazine or like a publication.
It's the best players.
Yeah, like
in fantasy.
What order do we really think that these guys are?
Yeah.
So I understand. Would I take Chris McCaffrey at 2 or 3 or 4?
Of course not.
Absolutely not.
No.
But like again, it's scary not to pick him because he could be the number 1 player.
And he's trade bait.
Yeah. Like, I would trade something for Chris McCaffrey,
also,
but I wouldn't draft him.
If he stays healthy, that defense is getting him the ball. He will get a lot of touches.
Yeah, because their quarterback is either Sam Darnold or Matt
So
Corral.
he's going to run, and he is a receiving back as well.
And Sam Darnold can't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field, so there's going to be a lot
throw the ball any yards down the field?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of underhand tosses, 5-yard hitches to Chris McCaffrey.
Yeah, and
if he is healthy, he will have 100 catches, and no one else will have more than 80.
I agree.
All right, so both of our number 1s are Jonathan Taylor.
Do we need to talk about that?
I don't think so.
He
could get hurt, but
really good offensive line, really good
line.
Defense. Matt Ryan will give him the ball.
Yeah, like they have decent.
Frank Reich knows
decent
what he's
receivers.
doing.
Frank Reich is very much a running coach. So,
yeah.
So our next. Thank you for that. Our next. Yeah, we're outside in public, so we'll find a studio at some point. Yeah, like and subscribe.
You already know.
Yeah. By the way, later on with the segment, we'll call it like the mailbag kind of. So like if you guys have
any questions, just drop them, and then
and like
we'll
answer them.
We'll go check every video just to make sure.
Yeah,
like questions. So
so like if y'all have anything interesting or like anything funny, we'll react to it.
We'll look at it. We'll respond.
But like if this gets no viewers, we're not gonna make another one because it's a waste of time. We are going to do divisional predictions. We're gonna do the East first. Do you want to do AFC or NFC first?
Let's talk about AFC first.
Okay, so first off, I mean Buffalo Bills, right? We got the Buffalo Bills winning? Okay.
What record do you have the Bills?
So I think the Bills are a 13 and 14.
Oh,
Personally.
literally. Okay.
Okay.
so
Yeah.
For
So,
obvious reasons.
yeah.
Really good offense, really good defense.
but I don't think
good
they'll like go
coach.
undefeated or anything.
Oh yeah, they're yeah.
For number 2, this is very tricky because I think the Jets are firmly entrenched at the bottom, but like between
they're
2
not
and 3,
bad.
they're not bad. But like between the Patriots and the Dolphins, I am still gonna lean the Patriots just because like they lost some last year, but like Mac Jones is only gonna get better, and I'm not gonna go against Bill Belichick. The Dolphins have a new coach. I feel like people are kind of forgetting about that, and Tua's just not good. So I feel like Mac Jones is better than Tua.
The upside of the Dolphins
There's upside.
is probably the best in the whole league.
Ooh, I don't know about that, but like they have
Who
upside.
has a better upside?
The Cowboys.
I disagree. I feel like the Cowboys are screwed.
Oh, they are screwed. But we're talking about upside. I think the Dolphins are screwed too. But
I don't
I
think
have
the
the
Dolphins are screwed at all. I think they could
I
very
think-
easily be.
I think both teams go 10 and 7. I just think that
Okay.
if we're talking head to head, because I think both teams will go 10 and 7. We'll go down to head to head. We're talking whoever the Dolphins do coaches. I don't know who it was.
And we
it was
know
that
we know the
Starbucks
Dolphins
dude.
will win the last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, they always do.
We're talking about. All I remember is that he looks like a Starbucks barista. I don't trust
That's
him. It's him or Bill Belichick. It's Tua versus Mac Jones. I'm taking the Patriots head to head. So I think that both teams will go 10 and 7. I think the Patriots will go 2. Dolphins will go 3. As we do our future predictions, we'll see if that 10 and 7 is good enough to get the Dolphins to the playoffs. I think it is enough for the Patriots, though.
You can't ignore Tua's completion percentage, by the way.
It was 67%.
That is pretty
But-
high.
But his
Compared to
yards
what
per
was-
but his
what
yards
was-
but his yards per attempt was not that good. And Mac Jones
Yeah, but now he has explosive players.
and Mac
Tyreek
Jones was
Hill.
up there too, though.
Yeah.
Mac Jones completed like 70% of his passes for most of the season.
He has some of the most explosive players in the league. So even if he gives,
Yeah, but Tyreek Hill's a
that
deep threat.
2
He
yard-
can't throw deep.
That's true, but Tyreek
Jalen
Hill,
Waddle will go off, but Tyreek Hill,
the two.
I think Jalen Waddle has a better season than Tyreek Hill.
I feel like 2-yard passes can turn into 15, 20-yard
That is fair.
plays.
But we're asking a Starbucks barista to be smart enough to do that. I'm not sure that I trust that. And then last place is the Jets. Look, I don't think the Jets will be bad. I don't think they'll have a good record because I don't trust Zach Wilson. I'm going 4 and 13, but I,
feel
think
like
they'll
they're
be a
just
very
in rebuild mode, so
Yeah.
they're. I feel like they definitely.
They're building the team correctly.
Yeah.
But they took the wrong quarterback in 2020, so they'll be back to square one in a couple years.
I wouldn't bet against them. I wouldn't. I could honestly bet them making the playoffs in 5 years.
In 5 years, sure, but it won't be with Zach Wilson.
I agree. I feel like they definitely have the assets to trade.
Yeah, like Zach Wilson, you could trade Zach Wilson right now for a second-round pick. But I don't know. I think the Jets go
yeah.
4 and 12, but I don't think 4 and 13. I don't think they're a bad 4 and 13 though.
I have.
They have 7 and 10 talent, but they're playing in a very good division. That's not going to really give them many opportunities.
I feel like
to
that's a
to
free
overperform.
6 losses. I feel like they can't beat any of the players.
They'll get 1. I don't know, maybe the Dolphins, but
I have the Dolphins 11 and 6, Patriots 10 and 7, and
so be
Jets
real
5
now.
and
Okay.
12.
So, here's a tough one, NFC East. This is tough because they could go literally any order.
Yeah, I feel like all the teams could have the same record.
Yeah, so first place. Look, I don't think the Cowboys are going to win anything, but I do think they're going to win the division.
I have the Eagles winning the division.
And I think the Eagles are going to be second place. I think they're going to have the same record. I'm going 11 and 6 both ways.
I have 10
And I
and
think-
7. I have 10 and 7 each.
And the Cowboys are going to lose in the wild card because it's the Cowboys' way.
Do they even make the playoffs?
At 11 and 6, absolutely.
Oh,
And even
you
if-
have them at 11. And
Yeah,
plus,
and even
if they win
even
the
at
division,
10 and 7, the NFC is kind of terrible.
yeah. Plus,
Like, remember
if
a
they
couple
win the
years ago?
division, they
Yeah.
make the
Yeah. Like, remember the Bears made the playoffs at 8 and 8 a couple years ago? 10 and 7 is good enough, even with you.
Yeah.
So our order is switched. I have Cowboys, Eagles. He has Eagles, Cowboys. You really can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
I have the Giants at number 3 because I feel like the upside is there. I love Brian Dable. I think that's a great hire. Daniel Jones is better than the stats say they are. He's not great, but
He's a Daniel Jones sexual.
they have good weapons, and we're gonna talk about Saquon Barkley later, but
Yeah.
there are some good things the Giants could do this year. I'm going 7 and 10, and I think the Washington Commanders. That's a really stupid name. They're gonna
The
go.
black jerseys are kind of fire. Not gonna lie.
Black jerseys are nice.
Yeah.
The Commanders is a stupid name. They're gonna go 6 and 11.
Okay, I actually have the Commanders 8 and 9 at third position. I feel like quarterback is the only thing shaky for me, but otherwise they have not one of the best teams. They have a good team.
You're talking about Washington?
Yeah, talent-wise.
They need more receiver depth.
That's true.
Because Terry McLaurin can't do it all by himself.
But offensive line, solid.
Because, like, Terry McLaurin is a wide receiver. I think of Terry McLaurin the same way I do, like, Juju. If Terry McLaurin is being guarded by the other team's best corner, he's not going to do much. I can tell you that as someone who had Terry McLaurin.
Depends on the team.
I had Terry McLaurin last year in fantasy.
Me too.
If he was being guarded by anyone who was a top 10 corner, he was not catching the ball. He was 3 catches for 25
But yet again,
yards.
I played in a not PPR league, so.
Okay, I played in half, and
So-
that was rough. So that's our order. So now, because we don't have y'all's comments yet, we made our own questions.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first for your question?
Sure. You want to just alternate?
Yeah. So
Okay, bet.
your first question.
How long will Deshaun Watson be suspended for?
Wait, are we talking about will or how long should he be suspended? Because
Well-
I have very different.
That's true. Because
So here's my thing.
he should be suspended for a lot longer than he's actually gonna be suspended.
I'm kind of opposite of that actually.
Really?
Because I feel like Deshaun Watson didn't play last year. I feel like that could serve as his suspension.
I was thinking that too.
Like, I
But-
think that he should be suspended for 6 games.
But didn't he choose not to play last year?
He also kind of got blackballed, though. Because I feel like the Texans-
He would have gotten suspended anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So I feel like if he had played, he would have gotten suspended for the year. It's kind of like... The
I'd say-
comparison is Kareem Hunt, who was out of the league for a long time, and then when he came back to the Browns, he suspended for 8 weeks. So I feel like that's a scenario. But I think it's going to be for 6 weeks.
I also think 6 weeks,
But I think he should be suspended for like 4.
I
Which brings up an interesting question. Should the Browns even get rid of Baker Mayfield right now?
no.
Because who's their backup quarterback beyond
They
Baker?
should wait until people get like actually desperate. Like
The
they're
Panthers
like,
sound pretty desperate right now, but like
But
Baker Mayfield can't be
you have
worse
to. I
than
bet,
he
I
was
bet they're
last
waiting
year.
until somebody will actually like shell out as much as possible for.
Because I feel like Baker Mayfield can't be worse than he was last year. If anything, his stock is going to go up in those first however many weeks while Deshaun Watson is suspended.
That's why I think they're gonna keep him.
Yeah,
Because
so I think they should keep him because he's better than anyone else that they would have. That way the Browns won't get off to a terrible start starting whoever they have. I don't know
Yeah.
who it is, which says a lot because I can name a lot of backup quarterbacks and I cannot name the Browns. So
it's Case Keenum, right?
Is it Case Keenum?
I think so.
That's
He
bad.
played last year.
That's really bad. We also forgot to talk about deep sleepers, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So I promised y'all that I would talk about Kyler Murray, and this is why I don't think Kyler Murray's that good.
Me either.
Because look, the short quarterback stigma is way overused.
I don't
But
think
there
I don't think
also-
he's bad because he's short.
I think he is because there's very much to be said. Kyler Murray's big weak point, and it's the same with Russell Wilson, and it was the same with Drew Brees when he played. They could not throw over the middle of the field. Russell Wilson straight up refuses to do it. Kyler Murray is bad at it, and it's because they cannot throw over the defensive tackles. Kyler Murray can throw outside pretty well, but once you guard the outside of the field, which is what defenders did with Russell Wilson last year, that's why he was bad, because on third downs, all Russell Wilson could do was just throw it outside to DK Metcalf, who was being double covered. Tyler Lockett is running open over the middle of the field, but Russell Wilson will not throw it to him. That's why I'm not 100% on Jerry Jeudy this year, because he's an over-the-middle type of guy, and Russell Wilson is just not going to do that. I don't think Kyler Murray is that good. You can drop him in fantasy, but if we're talking about what quarterbacks would I want to start a team with, Kyler Murray is not that guy.
Yeah, to build a team around someone, I feel like Kyler Murray could be someone that you could have, but like he would not be a franchise player.
No, you can't win a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray. So here's another question. Back to the Browns. What do you make of the Browns' backfield? Because I've seen Nick Chubb a lot as like a top 10 guy.
I don't trust Stefanski to give. Stefanski calls the plays and is the head coach.
It's like
That's
they have
the
Deshaun
problem.
Watson. They're gonna want to, and Amari Cooper. Their wide receivers aren't great, but they're still gonna want to throw the ball more than they should.
I feel like Kareem Hunt is going to come in a lot more because of the
Yeah.
fact that they're going to throw more.
Yeah, because Nick Chubb gives you nothing receiving. So I feel like you shouldn't. If it's like a third-round pick, you can take Nick Chubb, but beyond that, no. Nick Chubb was a
Yeah.
first-round pick for me last year. He was fine, but
I drafted Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp first and second round last year. Traded them both after week 2.
Jesus.
I know, right?
All right.
Will Traylon Burks pan out for the Titans?
So depends on the criteria. What are we talking about here? Are we talking will he be AJ Brown, or will they like regret the move to trade AJ Brown?
Will they be satisfied with their decision?
Yes, for 2 reasons. A, they're pretty much the same player. Like AJ Brown is more explosive. Like he is a better overall player, but I'm pretty sure Treylon Burks' contract is like $5 million versus the $25 million that AJ Brown is getting.
Yeah.
So yes, AJ Brown is way better than Treylon Burks. Is he $20 million better? No. So if we're talking value and salary cap, they made the right choice. Plus the Titans kind of did like a soft reset in a way. They got rid of a lot of guys, and I feel like they're going to continue to get rid of a lot of guys. They're doing what the Seahawks did a few years ago. They're just getting a lot younger, and they're clearing up as much salary cap room as possible.
They used to be one of the oldest teams,
and now they're one of the youngest.
Yeah,
and
when Mariota was.
Yeah, so I think they made the right move.
Yeah.
I'm honestly shocked that they got what they did for AJ Brown. I think they got a steal.
I think the trade was fair.
Not necessarily with Treylon Burks, but with the value that they got.
For both teams, I think the trade is a win-win.
Yeah. Because I think, obviously, the Cardinals way overpaid for Marquise Brown.
Of course. Yeah.
I think what the Ravens got from Marquise Brown, that's what the Titans should have gotten for Treylon Burks. For AJ Brown.
That's actually a good
But
point.
it'll work out for the Titans. I think it'll also work out for the Eagles. It's a win-win trade, but if I could choose one side to say this team won better long-term, it is the Titans. Short-term, obviously, it's the Eagles because they need to see whether or not Jalen Hurts is that guy because we're not 100% certain. So we'll save your next question for last because I think it's a very interesting question. So here is my next question, my last question. What is the range of outcomes for Saquon Barkley? Because I was thinking about this earlier today, and the way I see it,
actually know what my answer is.
because like I feel like maximum is like 1,100 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, and like 900 receiving yards. So like a Walmart Christian McCaffrey season, kind of.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be like a running back 3, but I feel like the floor is what he did last year, like 500 yards in and out of the lineup, and he'll be traded away for a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, my max is high 900s to low 1,000 yards, and a decent amount of receiving yards.
So
and
like
my floor.
So like a what's his name? Josh Jacobs, kind of.
Yes, yeah, that's a good comparison. And my floor is him getting traded before the deadline. I feel like I could see definitely some teams going out of their way to get him in.
All right, so what is your last question? Because this messed with me when he told it to me earlier.
Okay. How safe is Mike McCarthy?
So I think he is, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think he's an 8 in terms of safety, just because Jerry Jones loves him. And Jerry Jones is clearly calling the shots. But if the Cowboys fall apart this year without Amari Cooper, and like if the Cowboys defense falls apart, because I've seen a lot of places like the Cowboys defense might be the best in the league.
I disagree. I feel like they have some of the best players in the league, but they don't have the best defense in the league.
And that's what I think. Like I feel like if they don't perform at the level that a lot of people think they should, like if there's like a middle of the pack defense and the Cowboys finish like 9-8 because I don't love Dak, then that job security could get a little bit lower, but I don't think there's any chance he gets fired after this year.
Similar to the
2023 offseason, maybe.
Yeah, I guess
Or
similar.
2020. I guess it'll be 2024. But
Yeah, similar to the Dolphins. I guess they have the talent, they just can't put it together.
Yeah.
That's how Enlo football is too.
yeah. Well, no, we don't have the talent either. But
We kind of do.
no, we don't.
Clark, some players could be a lot better if Clark made it work.
If Clark wasn't racist, what?
Real. No, but
I should show this to him.
I think he.
Oh yeah, I wore this so I could like plug it at Love Football.
You already know. Come support us.
I also got the shorts, but
I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can kind of see it. There you go.
Right. But
Okay. So last thing, because we forgot.
bro,
we have.
I didn't even answer the question yet.
Oh wait. Yeah.
Nah. But I think there's a high possibility he gets fired. I feel like Jerry Jones wants to win. It just depends on the coaching market after the season.
I highly disagree with that statement. That Jerry Jones wants to win. I don't think he does. I think Jerry Jones just wants to call the shots.
I think he's already made so much money that he doesn't care anymore, and I think the best case scenario to bring in more money for the Cowboys, which is what Jerry Jones wants, is to win something half decent. At least make it.
They haven't made a conference championship game since 1995.
Yeah.
That's the year they won the Super Bowl. They haven't made a conference championship game since then. So
I'd make an argument that it's possible they don't even make the playoffs.
Oh, it's definitely possible because again, the Giants have the upside, and I think if the Cowboys finish third place in the NFC East, I don't think they make it.
Yeah. So which teams could possibly be better? I feel like Rams, Packers, Vikings.
The three teams in the NFC West, because I'm putting the Cardinals there still.
I feel like the Cardinals don't make it.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they
do either. But I'm saying there's a chance. You just said, is there a chance?
It's just like I feel like the Cardinals have the same amount of chance as the Cowboys.
Okay, so we'll go Packers as well. So that's three teams. What's the other division? The NFC South, the Saints, and
the Buccaneers.
Saints and Buccaneers.
Saints,
and then
Bucs,
the Eagles.
Vikings, Packers, Rams.
I don't know about
Eagles.
I don't know about the Vikings. I put them right there with the Cardinals and the Cowboys. But we could disagree. I have 6 teams. You have what, 7? And there's 7 playoff spots. So the Cowboys could be right there.
I feel like the Cowboys.
But I think the Cowboys win the division, so I don't think they have to worry about that. I think the Eagles do, but.
Okay, yeah.
But I think both teams make. I think there's 2 playoff teams from the NFC East, which is crazy to say after a couple years ago.
Okay.
So we forgot to do our deep sleepers.
Or honorable mentions for fantasy.
Honorable mentions, yeah.
So you want me to run through?
Yeah, you can do your top 3. We've already talked about a couple of these guys, but
yeah. So for my 3 honorable mentions, I have Alexander Madison, Travis Etienne, and T. Higgins, or AJ Brown. I feel like they'll have similar seasons.
Yeah.
I guess T. Higgins, AJ Brown for obvious reasons. We already talked about them. Travis
Alexander
Etienne.
Madison, if Dalvin Cook gets hurt, that makes sense.
Travis Etienne might be the best might have the best draft value. I don't think he gets drafted anywhere in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, he is a late 5th round pick.
If you have him in the 5th round, I feel like he's worth more than a 5th round pick.
Yeah, because he's a better receiver than James Robinson.
And even he's going to get more touches. He has more chemistry with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, there's a world where they split carries, but again, there's so many split backfields that the value is going to be there no matter what.
Yeah. I feel like Travis Etienne.
You couldn't really go wrong with either of them, honestly, James Robinson or Travis Etienne. But I feel like Travis Etienne has a higher ceiling.
Me too. Yeah. I feel like they have the same floor though.
They have the same floor.
Yeah.
So I have a few honorable mentions, and then I have like some very deep sleepers. So first off is Leonard Fournette. That may sound kind of funny.
Playoff funny.
Not even playoff funny. He ranked 6th in fantasy points per game last year. He did.
That's crazy. Over who?
I couldn't name everyone, but like
some notables.
There are some notables on there, and like I get why you wouldn't want to draft him in the first round, because like it's not. You don't want to tell someone like, "Hey, who'd you draft the first round pick?" Oh, I drafted Leonard Fournette. Like you don't want to do that.
Again, the draft value will be there for Leonard Fournette.
Yeah. It's like you can get him like mid-2nd round, and he will perform.
Maybe even later,
because I've seen him a lot lower.
Yeah.
Next, Alvin Kamara. He was the running back 4 last year before Jameis got hurt. So, like, we're talking about him. He had a down season last year. Really wasn't his
I think
fault.
he might be top 2 receiving back in the league.
Definitely, he's up there. So, I feel like he will be a top 10 running back next year. And you can get him at running back 15 value. So, you want to do that.
I think top 7.
Maybe even, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Stephon Diggs, for similar reasons as Justin Jefferson, he will get his 1,400 yards and however many touchdowns.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Stephon Diggs in the late 2nd, early 3rd round.
He can't be bad. He just can't.
And my deep sleepers are David Montgomery. He's inefficient, which leads to upside, because he could not be inefficient. And Justin Fields was bad last year, so they're going to run the ball and like try to take some straight.
But why was he bad? I don't like Justin Fields. I think he's pretty bad, but I don't think the reason he was bad was because of him.
Yeah, because he didn't have any good receivers. Because Allen Robinson was bad last year as well. But
Darnell Mooney was pretty good.
Darnell Mooney is pretty good. He's a good sleeper too.
But there's nobody else.
There's no one else, so they're gonna run the ball. He's gonna get his touches, and there's not really that many people there to take away from him, because Tariq Cohen got hurt, so there's not really much. I feel like tore his Achilles or something. And my other very deep sleeper is just the entire. Jesus Christ!
It's not as bad as MMG.
Jesus, yeah.
Devin White.
The entire Seahawks backfield. Chris Carson's hurt, but when he gets back, he's arguably the best running back in the Seahawks backfield. He has 2 1,000-yard seasons.
But he's a
And he's a
guaranteed
solid
IR,
receiver.
which is
Maybe, but
leading to your next point.
which is leading to my next point.
Yeah.
Rashad Penny was insane last year. He led all running backs last year in yards per carry among, guys with like the minimum carries.
Yeah.
He's great at breaking tackles. He's very fast. Kenneth Walker is pretty much the exact same player, except he's younger and not an injury concern. Kenneth Walker's only had 1 full season where he's like been the workload's back. That was last year at Michigan State, and he had 1,600 yards. So
Michigan State had one of the best offenses in college football.
yeah, and like he's not a great receiving back, but I feel like there you go. I feel like that's more just because the Michigan State offense didn't allow him to do that, because their quarterback was Peyton Thorne, and like
He wasn't bad.
he wasn't bad, but he couldn't throw. So
Throw deep.
he couldn't throw deep. So
Yeah.
there just wasn't. Jesus Christ, see what we're doing here. Again, yeah, we're in public, so. Yeah, do you have anything else like you really add? Like, I feel like.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, just like comment.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share. Again, if this doesn't get views, we're not gonna make another one, so share it.
If you like it.
Yeah, to sign out, I'm Nick.
I'm Nathan.
Nathan. We're the Fantasy Groupies. We'll see y'all next time.